This is Dan Dicks here reporting for Press for Truth, and I am back, ladies and gentlemen, in beautiful Squamish, British Columbia. In case you didn't know, I've been away for a little while. I've recently just got back from Acapulco, Mexico, because I was invited to speak at the annual Anarchapulco conference. This is something I've been doing since the very first one in 2015. I went to every single one of them consecutively, right on up to 2020 when the global scamdemic hit. And as you know, I became a prisoner in my own country for the next couple of years due to my vaccine status. Well, this year, 2023, the Canadian government and the Mexican government eased up on some of their COVID restrictions. So I was able to make the conference this year. Now, a lot of people have been wondering, you know, Dan, did you compromise on your values in order to do this trip in any way? And let me just address that right away and say absolutely not. My wife and I have never been tested. We've never been jabbed. We do not wear the masks. We will never do any of these three things. So rest assured, if you ever see us going to somewhere like Acapulco, Mexico, and you too are untested, unjabbed, will not wear the mask, well, you can know that you're going to be able to do it as well if you see us doing it. Having said that, there is one thing I did have to do differently this year compared to previous years, is that usually I'll book my flight from Vancouver going to Mexico through the United States. It's a lot cheaper to do a layover in San Francisco, for example. You do a layover in San Francisco, then a layover in Mexico City, then you go to Acapulco. That's the cheap way to fly. That's how I've always done it. This year, the United States still had their COVID-1984 travel restrictions, so that was just simply not an option. So the only way for me to get there this year was to book direct to Mexico City and then fly in from there. So I had to go from Vancouver direct to Mexico, which is more expensive, unfortunately. And this brings up another point that some people have been commenting about, saying, oh, it must be nice to have all this money to be able to go and do things like that, go to a conference in Acapulco, Mexico. And again, I want to address that and let you know, first of all, the conference paid for everything. My flight, my hotel, my food, 3 meals a day, buffet style. I could eat all I want for the entire duration of my stay. For me and my plus one, my wife. So everything has been completely covered for the two of us. So I just wanted to get that out of the way. Jeff Berwick paid for everything, and he's now trying to recoup the costs of running a conference like this. And I gotta say, from my experience of being at this thing from the very beginning, I've watched how it's progressed over the years. And you know, it was a mess in 2015, like the first one, very disorganized. But over the years, it continued to grow, it continued to evolve. And by the time we got to 2020, I remember there were thousands of people there. And, you know, there's a lot of effort that goes into it on my part too. I mean, it's not just a cakewalk. Doing a 45-minute talk in front of, you know, potentially thousands of people like in 2020 is not something you just kind of walk into. But in 2020, there were thousands of people there, you know. And when the global scamdemic hit, obviously the conference took a pretty big hit as well, because people are traveling there to attend this thing. So they had to change a little bit, and the venues changed. It's no longer now in a 5-star hotel. Now the entire thing is run outdoors in a place called the Secret Garden. It's a beautiful jungle oasis where you're walking around in like the forest of Acapulco through these gorgeous paths that lead to all these different sections where they had different areas where there could be workshops or speeches or the dinners or things like that going on. And I must say, the organization this time has been far much better than any other conference I've been in attendance at. So I had a really, really good time at this one. And also, I took a bit of a different approach this year. You know, usually I'm running around at these things, doing interviews, being interviewed, you know, networking, trying to meet as many people as I can. This year, I wanted to attend the conference kind of like from the perspective of an attendee, somebody who paid for a ticket in order to watch all of these great speakers. So I ended up sitting in on a number of the talks this year, and I wanted to point out some of my favorite speakers who I had the opportunity to watch this year. Some of those mainly were, and I'll explain why too, Patrick Smith, Ron Paul, Del Bigtree, Carrie Madej, and Jeff Berwick. All really good talks this year. And again, I'll explain why. With Patrick Smith, for example, his talk was probably my favorite because it was the one that gave you things to do the most. Practical things that you can do in your life when it comes to engaging in other people's beliefs, carrying your own conversation in regards to your own beliefs, how to interact with people. It was just a very highly educational talk. Again, practical things that you can work on at home to be a better communicator in this space. And it was interesting because the night before, Patrick and I went out to dinner, and I was telling him a little bit about what my speech was going to be about. We'll talk a little bit about that. And I mentioned to him, I don't know how it's going to be received, you know, like, because, you know, I'm not so sure how it's going to be perceived, but it doesn't matter. You know, that's not up to me to worry about. I just have to be true to myself, plant those seeds, let it go out there, and that's that. And he was inspired by that, and he said, you know what? He actually wanted to talk about something else. And he decided that night, after we had dinner, that he would change his talk and not kowtow, I should say, not cater to this specific crowd, but to say what he truly wants to say, no matter how it's going to be received. And so he ended up giving this very good talk, which kind of went through different techniques you can use when it comes to talking to people about these types of issues. So again, fantastic talk. I was really glad to watch that. Probably my second favorite was Ron Paul. What's not to say about Ron Paul? Absolutely love the guy. He's the only politician I've ever would say that I like. He's just been so consistent, bang on. Pretty much everything he says, I've always been like, yep, I'm in full agreement with this man. And so he's 87 years old, still going around giving 45-minute talks to these freedom-loving people. It's just a beautiful thing to see. And he's getting up there, man. He was looking pretty frail, but he still delivered just a fantastic speech. Again, if you want to see the one and only Ron Paul, I'll tell you how you can do that in a minute. Del Bigtree was another good one. Man, that guy is just completely filled with passion. Like, he has this energy that irradiates off of him. An aura, if there's such a thing, is around this man when he gives a presentation or a talk. And his presentation was just filled with, you know, interactive stuff. It was a PowerPoint presentation. He had video clips that it kept cutting to provide examples of the things that he was talking about. Again, if you've ever seen Del Bigtree of the High Wire, you know he's a pretty energetic speaker, and to see him on stage is just something else. It's something else that shouldn't be missed. Carrie Madej, Dr. Carrie Madej, putting herself out there. She gave a talk doing a PowerPoint presentation showing some shocking stuff about the COVID-1984 scamdemic that she has been, you know, under attack for. Again, really great talk that I enjoyed. And then there's Jeff Berwick as well. I really enjoyed his talks because I've been watching him speak from the very first one, and usually they're a bit of a mess. He's usually, you know, half in the bag, drunk. Jeff usually doesn't really prepare much for these things. He'll kind of wing it, and sometimes it turns out okay. Sometimes it turns out pretty good. Sometimes it doesn't turn out so good at all. Well, this year Jeff hasn't had a drink in 13 months. He's stone sober, and I watched 2 of his talks, and I must say, best talks he's given. They were bang on. His cryptocurrency day talk was great, and then his final closing speech was just on point, concise, to the point, very, very good information, a lot of good advice, just a generally well-rounded speech. And then there was my talk. I gave a 45-minute talk where, again, I had to boldly speak the truth that I've come to find in the world, largely to a crowd of atheists, anarchists, libertarian-minded people. And the message I was bringing to this year's conference and others was that in order to achieve true freedom and liberty moving forward, Jesus has to be in the picture. And as I said before, I wasn't sure how this message was going to be received upon this type of a crowd, and to my delight, it was very, very well received. Throughout the rest of the duration of the conference, so many people were coming up to me saying, Dan, I really enjoyed your talk. I really love how you incorporated, you know, God into the picture and explained your views on that, and the way you did it was in a really, really good way. So I had a lot of people saying that, so I'm really pleased that the talk was received well. And a lot of people have been asking me, guys, how can you watch the talk right now? And you can watch it right now. The very first link in the description below is a link to where you can watch the entire event. A live stream, a restream, where you can watch over and over. You can watch my talk, Dell's, Ron Paul, Patrick Smith, other people, Larkin Rose, Dr. Andy Kaufman was there. There was probably like 50 speakers there. This is a really good value for your money. It's $150 for the ticket, but if you use promo code PFT, you save 10% on that, and that 10% actually goes directly to me. So you're helping you, you're helping me, and it's a really, really good value. You can restream it all you want, over and over, watch all the talks. So guys, if you're interested in that, again, it's a really, really good value. There's so much, a huge wealth of information in these live streams if you go through and watch every single one of these talks. Again, it's the first link in the description below. That is a PFT affiliate link. Be sure to use the PFT code PFT to get your 10% off. Go watch my talk where I tell this room full of atheists and anarchists and libertarians that without Jesus they'll never achieve true freedom. And also watch all the other great speakers. Again, it's a really, really good value for your money. It's the first link in the description below. All right, guys, on to the PFT updates part of this video. Immediately upon arriving home back in Canada from this trip a few days ago, I got some pretty bad news. My laptop is fried. It's dead. The motherboard's gone. It's not receiving any power at any stage of the game here, so I am completely computerless. You may have noticed this video had no intro. It's going to have no outro. There are 0 edits. There is no clips. There is no B-roll. That is because I am unable to do any of this type of work right now because I am currently computerless. So I am right now in the market for a brand new computer. And in case you didn't know, guys, Press for Truth is a one-man show. It has been for a long time, certainly for the last decade. I've had people that I've worked with over the years, a few people who have come and gone, but certainly for the last decade it's been just me. That means I do all the editing, all the uploading, all the imaging, all the promoting, all the exporting of the videos. So I need a powerful machine to be able to handle this. So I've been looking into, you know, what I need. I found what I need, and a lot of people have suggested, you know, what I'm going for is the MacBook Pro, the 2023 MacBook Pro. It's 32 gigs of RAM. It's a terabyte of space for card space, and it's in the form of a laptop. Now, that's important to me because I'm a boots on the ground kind of reporter. I need to be able to edit and upload from wherever I am reporting. The machine I'm looking at, we're looking at over 3,100 US. This is like $4,200 Canadian. And people are telling me, Dan, you could build a computer, a tower that's just as powerful, that will do the kind of stuff you need it to do, but it's not going to cost you as much. But unfortunately, I need that mobility. You know, so many times I'm like sleeping in somebody's basement covering something, and I have to edit from there, or at some like hotel covering an event, and I got to get it edited and upload from wherever I am. So unfortunately, because I'm just a one-man show, I'm the guy who does the editing and the on-the-ground reporting. I'm the one who needs a laptop to be able to do this. So unfortunately, guys, I am currently kind of out of commission. I'm using my wife's laptop right now to be able to sign into my BitChute and my Odyssey and my Rumble and stuff like that, so I can upload this and these types of videos, just purely unedited walk and talks. That's all I'm able to do right now until I do get this new computer. So if this is something that you guys would like to help me with, I do have a Go Get Funding campaign, because as I said, this does cost quite a bit, and even from the day that I order, it's going to take 2 weeks for this thing to arrive. Unfortunately, that's the shipping time on these new ones, these new MacBook Pros. So I got to get on this, guys, and if this is something that you want to contribute to, again, the second link in the description below is going to be to my Go Get Funding campaign to help PFT get back on track, get back into the swing of things, of editing and uploading PFT videos in the style that I do here. So again, if that's something you're interested in, please check the links below. I had somebody suggest to me that I crowdfund this to help get my feet, you know, get back hitting the grounds, get running again. They suggested I use GoFundMe, and people may not be aware that GoFundMe robbed me of $7,000 one time, back when I was covering that BLM rally, and I was surrounded by a mob of 120 people, and they attacked me, they stole my GoPro, they hit me in the head with a bottle, and I ended up getting arrested and thrown in the back of a paddy wagon. Well, the next day, guys, I put out a campaign on GoFundMe to raise money to replace the GoPro. So I had started a campaign asking for $800, the exact amount of the GoPro, and the next morning I woke up to see that the GoFundMe had raised $7,000. People went above and beyond what I was asking for. It was a beautiful thing to see, so I ran out, bought the replacement GoPro, came home, and was about to cash out the money, and I got an email from GoFundMe saying, your campaign's being terminated. All the money has been refunded to their donors, and you are no longer allowed to use GoFundMe. This is because the mob convinced them that I was this dangerous white supremacist that they were accusing me of being, which obviously is a bunch of nonsense. So GoFundMe ended up stealing $7,000 from me. So never again. You good, fine people stepped up to the plate and supported my efforts, and they took it all back. So not doing that again. So this time around, I'm using Go Get Funding. Again, guys, if this is something you appreciate, please help me get back running. I will be doing anything I can, no matter what. I'm gonna try to see what kind of editing I can do with some other software in the meantime on my wife's computer. Maybe I can figure something out. I got some videos that I gotta edit, interviews I did with Dr. Andy Kaufman, Jeff Berwick. I've got a lot of work to do, but it's currently all at a standstill till I get my computer back and I get up and running again. So again, if that's something you guys would like to contribute to, please check the links in the description if you want to help PFT get back up and running to do the boots on the ground reporting that you've come to like and appreciate here at Press for Truth. So that's all, guys. I just wanted to let you know everything in Acapulco went well. I would strongly encourage you to watch my talk. You can do so by clicking the link in the description using promo code PFT. That gives you access to every single talk, over 50 speakers. Everybody's got around a 20 to 45 minutes talk, so huge wealth of information. Also, don't forget to check out my Go Get Funding campaign, guys, so I can get back up and running as soon as possible. And that's it for now. Don't forget to please click the like button on this one, share this video with your friends and family, and stay tuned. I'm going to have more video reports coming as soon as possible, God willing. This is Dan Dicks reporting for Press for Truth. I'll talk to you guys again soon.